Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of today's Best Stock Picks. My name is Pete Renzulli. It is Friday, June 5th, 2020. I almost said May. The months are just blending together, being home all day. A lot to talk about today, a lot of opportunities. And we actually got an opportunity that I'm going to be considering as a short sale today, something we haven't discussed in a while. But there's a little caveat. It's gotten down, the one stock I'm going to point out right now has gotten down to a very similar level that a stock that we looked at last week that we said would be interesting to see if they caught all the short sellers, the early short sellers, and if they did, you'd know right away, and they'd probably shove it in their face, and they did. So the trade that we're going to take a look at today is a very similar setup, but if it does follow through, it's got the Grand Canyon below it. So I'll set that up right now. We're going to take a look at those two stocks first, but then we have a big list. The most interesting set of stocks we're going to take a look at today that I'm getting the most questions about are the airline stocks. What do I do? Is it too late? Do I get involved now? So that's really the theme today. We have a bunch we're going to look at, airlines, financials, and a few other ones. But let's take a look at the market and then these. Actually, let's go right to the short sale stocks, and just so I can give you the comparison of the two. By the way, if you find these videos helpful, absolutely click down and subscribe. That would mean the world to me. And also leave a comment if you have any ideas on some stocks that you'd like for us to see or review or discuss. So thanks for that, by the way. So we're going to go over to the stock that is setting up as a potential short sale today. So you can see if we go to the left, if you watch today's episode of Stocks for Breakfast, we're very big on where's the last place buyers or sellers did something significant. And yes, this was the pandemic, but this is where prices were holding even prior to that. And now we've kind of punched through it. You can see last time we punched through it, we rallied back again, and we punched through it again yesterday. Yesterday on relatively decent volume, not exactly a huge volume spike. For me to have a little bit more conviction on the short sale, I would like to see it punch through there. But what I do like is we basically had two consolidation candles here, not quite two inside candles, but pretty close. And they were what I call indecision because they have small bodies. Then we went well offered and well offered in a big way where we closed on the lows. So I'm looking for a close below, an open below yesterday's low in Abbott Labs ABT, and then looking for some follow through. And you can clearly see there's really no support at all coming up here if it does happen to break down. But right now, that's the right price. But again, that's the scenario. And I want to just point out a similar stock that had a setup last week and what happened. You can see we called out Chewy, and we said, okay, this is interesting. We got down over here, and my alerts went off. Finally clicked through it, and I said, okay, I need to see it close below the level before I feel conviction to possibly put a short sale on, be one of the first, first through the new level. It never closed through that level. A little different than we just looked at Abbott, and look what ended up happening where we exploded in the opposite direction. So really good lesson there on identifying whether or not a stock is proving to you it's going to stay through that level. Very similar to what we discussed in PENN quite a bit recently. I keep bringing that stock up because it's been profitable, yesterday especially as well. So anyway, getting into the airline stocks, we're going to start out with American Airlines. Again, 41% move yesterday. So a lot of people are asking now, is now too late? Well, you know what? It really depends on what your time frame is, what's your horizon. Do these stocks have room to go? Yeah, you can see where they came from prior to the pandemic starting. Very challenging, though, to get involved after a 41% move and expecting another one of those. Can you get another day or two? Yeah, but I would personally, I'd be waiting for a little bit of a pullback from today's higher opening before I look to bid. I'd probably have a limit order if we open higher. So we're going to go through all of these guys. So American Airlines is the first one. We're going to take a look at Delta. Again, Delta's a little bit interesting because Delta actually cleared what was the right price and now is actually at a new resistance level, or again, as we call it, the last place that buyers or sellers did something significant. Again, 13% move yesterday. I do like these stocks long, but to me personally, I'd like to see them get above these levels and hold. Very similar to what it did here is what I'd like to see it do here. I do like them long though. Let's see, what else we got? We got Save. Similar thing. Actually, this actually had a nice bullish gap. Again, 21% move into the last place that sellers did something significant. Again, I do like these long, but I want to see this a little bit more. That's how I'm going to be looking to start to put some trades on here. We might get one more day, but I want to see this. I want to see a couple of days pause so that it consolidates the move. I'd like to see the pause on light volume and then look for the next move. Boy, if we can get another pause like that, that sets up another move higher. That could be a really nice risk point with really solid potential. Congratulations if you had some of these positions from back in March or April and you get these nice explosions. You should be proud of yourself for taking advantage. Interesting couple of stocks that are longs, but we haven't had opportunities to buy any pullbacks lately. So they came up my scanners. I was all excited, and BJ is one of them. BJ actually had a really nice bullish explosion. You can see here it was after earnings, and a really solid move to the downside yesterday with a little bit of profit taking. But the reason I'm excited is it's one of my favorite setups, is either buying new strength or buying weakness after a couple of days. So that's why I want to look and be very careful about this. I'm looking for it to push lower again today and looking for a spot to buy probably around 32.50 area. If it opens higher, I'm going to let it go because it takes it right back into that $36 trading range. I'm not going to get involved there. Another one that's been on fire that actually had a inside day and then selling. So basically 3 days, it's closed lower, right? 2 days actually. I'm going to be looking for a lower opening in DocuSign here as well today. It looks like it's actually up a lot, so I'm not going to get involved because again, it's going to open up right into that range. If as a day trade it opens higher and stays above the open, then I will consider getting long, but I'm not going to initiate a new swing trade long if it does open $6 higher. That's too far past where I would want to manage my risk. Perfect scenario for me for a new swing trade would have been a lower opening. It would be a day trade if it stays above the opening. Another one, ZS actually has consolidated. This is actually the price action that I'm looking for in the airline stocks, where you have a nice push through, consolidates, and you can see to the left we're clearing all of the levels that would matter. And this is going to set up a nice swing trade that I'm going to be looking for long as well. So the obvious question that I get from everybody is where, generally speaking, above the previous day's high is where I'll set my buy stop to look for a new long. Next we have CCI. Very similar situation that we looked at in BJ before. This one a little bit more obvious, where the trade today in Crown Castle, I am looking for a test of yesterday's low to bid to look to get long. So I want to be clear. I'm looking for a flat opening, test the previous day's low, which is this longer term support, and then I'm looking for a spot to get long. We mentioned PENN. I've been mentioning PENN. You're probably tired of me saying it, but what a day yesterday. If you're not a day trader, this is what it gave us yesterday. Just some amazing, amazing opportunity again yesterday. Congratulations to everybody in the private community and in the boot camp who took advantage of that. Just awesome. I'll give you guys a pat on the back. Nice job, everybody. Not a pat back on me, pat it back to you. So today we're looking, again, we wanted to prove that it's going to stay above this level. We drew this line weeks and weeks ago, and you can see why. It's had a hard time staying above this level. So as a day trade yesterday was fantastic. Now we want to see it get above this level as it did and stay there. That's going to be the ultimate. So what do we want to see today? We want to see it form a well-bid candle. Remember the maxim, real breakouts follow through. So if this follows through, awesome, stay with it, hop on board. If you see any sign of weakness and it trades back into that level, be disciplined and have your stop loss in there or get out. Next, we have ERI, really, really good. Again, these resorts are starting to pop. Question now is, this was the right price and you had the first bullish day. I actually do like it long still because there's some room to go. I don't look to the left and see any place significant where it stopped and sellers did anything in a big way. A lot of these companies now are starting to be back in the news, and for good reason. We're starting to see higher highs, higher lows, and a push. Again, swing trade long, you'd have to be risking down into this area. So you have to ask yourself, if it opens higher and pushes, am I comfortable with risking $10, $8? Probably not. I would probably rather see the stock pause a little bit here because this is actually a decent move. Another 10% over the last couple of days. I do like the stock long. It is the second day of a breakout. You're probably going to have to let it break out, pause, and then push higher again. If you're okay with having that stop, because there's really no realistic stop loss except for down here because you're trading the next move higher, which has to include where it just came out of. The better trade would have been this first day breakout. So you have a long at the 36 level, which is a little bit obviously a distance from now. So you have to determine, I personally would be working the order, not going in with full share size looking to get long there. So you got to determine what you're okay with from a risk perspective there. Play is another one. Gosh, just lining up with some really good opportunities. Again, very similar to what we've been looking at. That was the right price. It broke through the right price. You know that we call these fuel candlesticks, large body candlesticks. If you've taken the master class, if you learned order flow, which I highly recommend you do, you know that these are one of the types of trades that we scan for and look for every day that set up some moves that can potentially, in this case, run up to 30. Let's see, OSTK, Chris has been trading this one every day successfully. Nice job, Chris. Yesterday was an inside candlestick breakout. If we go to the weekly charts, you can take a look and see there's not a lot more room to go. So I would personally be careful, despite it setting up good on the daily charts. It looks like 24-ish is the area where resistance is coming in. So not a lot of more meat on the bone there. So that's a good example there of using multiple time frame analysis, despite the fact that the stock still looks good. You don't want to put limits on trades, but in that case, that's where sellers did something significant. Again, car is one that we've been talking about. I do not like the fact that it closed off of the highs yesterday, but a lot of stocks did that yesterday. Looks like we're going to retest yesterday's high. If we retest yesterday's high and push up, you can see there that 33.5, 34 level is my target there. Next, we have the financial stocks, actually. Again, JP Morgan just exploded out of the gate yesterday. Again, just to give you some idea. Look at that. But as far as on the daily charts, it finally got through the level. You can see this is continuing to be the situation that we're looking for, where it breaks out, pauses, and then continues. This has room to go to 120, which ironically, there was an upgrade. Gosh, I can't remember who it was. Somebody gave an upgrade last week. I believe it was to 110. So we're actually almost there already. Morgan Stanley. So we'll just run through the stocks here for you to consider. You can see that a lot of these stocks are breaking through what was the right price and seeing some follow through. The one that was very interesting to me yesterday that hasn't really been on my radar that much, I don't know why, but you can see Discover Financial Services also. So it might be a little bit late to hop on some of these because they've already pushed through and rallied 10 to 15%. We might be looking to wait for another pause in those stocks. However, I would absolutely be keeping on your radar the airline stocks, home builder stocks, which we didn't mention today, and obviously today's theme of the day is trading the airline stocks. So go get them today. Great job if you took advantage of everything this week. There's been some really good opportunities this week if you were prepared. If you need some help with that, definitely click down and learn more about the boot camp. Let's work together in real time for the next 30 days. It's worth every minute of your time to get in there in real time and ask questions while the market's open and after the market's open too. That's a big deal too. So be safe this weekend. Hopefully you'll get some nice weather down here in Florida. We are apparently in the Amazon. It's been raining for about 8 days in a row now. So have a great weekend, everybody. Have a strong, profitable end to the week, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.